I saw a video today that I know that I need to talk about. Or not today, I saw it yesterday. I've been seeing them since yesterday, let's put it that way. There seems to be a new trend on these little shorts and TikToks and YouTube. Yeah, and excuse, I know I have the red spots, and it happens when when I'm going through a lot of stress. I saw a video. It seems to be a new trending thing that of AI making someone look really, really huge, like my size and bigger, and making videos of them falling through things or breaking things. Is this where we're going to go as a country? As adults, we're going to still be making fun of fat people because somehow it's funny because you have such shallow thinking that and self-centered and ignorant thinking that we put ourselves here, so therefore we put ourselves out there to be made fun of. People wonder why people like me don't go out in public much. It's because everybody preaches about, you know, have some empathy, have a heart, stop judging everybody, blah, blah, blah. Everybody preaches this, but I'm not seeing much practice of it. And it's like the very same people that here's what happened last night. And if this is a third video I've seen of this, of someone, this was a person on a balance being very, very heavy. It's AI. They even say it's AI. I just don't understand the purpose of it, of breaking a balance beam, and they're talking about it and da 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 da. Oh my God, she just broke it. It makes it look like it's real, and it's not. And there was a person on it that follows my account on TikTok and has made comments of encouraging comments on my TikTok, basically saying, "Oh, I'm going to hell for this, but that's funny," or something like that. I can't remember exact wording, but and he had all these little laughy emoji, 2-year-old stuff on there. I was so disappointed. I was so disappointed and felt like he was nothing but a hypocrite. And to top it all off, I'm not saying he's overweight by any means, but he's not like fit and trim. And I know that some people say, well, get a sense of humor. I don't think making fun of somebody for breaking something is a sense of humor. I'm sorry. Unless the person themselves is in on it and it happens just to be a funny moment, but to purposely try to make that funny moment, I don't find it funny. I mean, you can call me have a stick up your butt, or you can call me any of that stuff. But when you have spent your lifetime isolating yourself, because the few times you do go out, this is the stuff that you're afraid of, that you're going to break something and have broke things and have been mocked and made fun of. It hits differently. That's all I can say. And people still think it's okay to make fun of overweight people. It really bothers me that people can't look outside. And I'll never understand if you're overweight, why you make fun of another overweight person if they're bigger than you. I'll never, and even if they're not to make fun of anybody anyway for what their size is, but I will never understand why instead of coming together and having, like, I know what you're going through thing, no, you decide that to make yourself feel better, make yourself feel smaller, you're going to make fun of somebody that's bigger than you because that makes you less big. I don't know. Fat is fat in my book, so, and there's nothing wrong. I mean, it's their bad. I don't know. I don't know. And I wish they would think about, just because you may not have an issue with food, or you may not have an issue with any, like, even if someone's an alcoholic or who's addicted to drugs, if you cannot think outside and consider somebody else's story or what they're going through, and you lack that much empathy that you think just because you don't have the issue that nobody else should, and don't have the capacity to understand that people with addiction, and especially with food addiction, because that's what we're talking about, there's underlying reasons for it. And if you cannot have that way of thinking, that is sad to me. And that's scary to me to think if all the progress that we've made in this country, that's one thing that's not being made, is the understanding and empathy of people who are overweight. I am not a freak just because I'm overweight, even though I have at times called myself a freak and still do when I get mad at myself because I have been taught that I am one at times by certain people. And sadly, some my family, some people who I thought were my friends. It's sad to me that this is becoming a trend and people are laughing at it. But yeah, if you go to their Facebook pages, they're saying compassion and empathy and usually some kind of scripture. And it's like, how? How can you preach that you are a kind, caring, giving, God loving, Bible loving person and then make fun of people just because they don't fit what you consider normal in the society? That you're so shallow that you can't think about maybe they've walking through things. And here's my thing before anybody says, well, just, it's not real, so it's not like they're really yeah, they are. They probably took a picture. I don't know exactly how AI works or how it comes up with pictures, but let's be real. They're making fun of fat people. Do you realize if the wrong person sees that in the wrong time in their life, that you could be partially the reason why they might decide to end it all? Let me tell you a story that would have ended my life if I was in this dark place that I have been in the last 2 weeks. About no, not 2 years ago. Oh my gosh, 8 years ago. It's 2 years after we moved here. It might even actually be longer than that by now. I lose track of time so easily. But is when I was working for Walmart and I was on my break and I was sitting out in the foyer and there was a bench here and then across from me, like almost a little bit side to the side, was another bench. And I was sitting at one reading my book, minding my business, not hurting anybody. And there was another person sitting across. Now she wasn't she wasn't thin. She was overweight herself. And this is when I was like 100 to 150 pounds less than I am now, embarrassingly that I've gained that much. But, I was still a big girl, but I was less than what I was now. And she was probably, I would probably say if I had to guess, she was probably around 250 pounds. So that's not a small person. And who cares even what her size was? But for this, why I'm describing this, I don't know if you've ever seen the Facebook page called, I don't even know if I want to bring attention to it, but it's basically a page making fun of Walmart, people at Walmart. And they secretly take pictures. And so if it's someone who they don't think fits into society and it looks funny to them, they take a picture and they put it up on there. And then people just are there to make fun of them. I will never understand that thinking. Why would you want to be part of that? Is it because it makes you feel better about you? I mean, is that really how you want to feel better? Is by making someone feel even lower than they are? I mean, who cares if someone wears something that you wouldn't wear? Who cares? I mean, I understand thinking if you're going to go out in the public, you take, okay, but look at them, have your thought inside your head and move on. Why does it have to be publicized? Why does it have to be verbalized? I don't understand. And anyway, all of a sudden I saw the girl put her phone up like this, and you could tell she was doing it secretively. And she took a picture of me because it flashed. Something snapped in me because I think I must have been having a bad day. Because when I have a bad day, it's when I get braver. I hate to say that because it gets my temper up. And I'm very sensitive and very touchy. And I looked up at her and said, did you just take a picture of me? No, I'm not talking about you. Mind your business. This is my business if you're taking a picture of me. I said, am I something for you to laugh at? I said, I mean, oh, okay. So am I going to have to look at, and I said the page for Facebook and see if I'm on there? Because let me tell you, if I am, I'm going to fight it. And I was so mad. I was so mad. And she got up and huff and puffed off. And I told her, I said, it is rude. I said, it is rude. You want me to take a picture of you right now and I'll put your ass up on there? And I said it like that too, guys. And I don't swear a lot unless I'm mad. And there's nothing wrong with swear. I mean, if you don't want to swear, don't swear. I mean, I'm not one that just constantly, but this world is making me so I am. This is the reasons why I'm thinking, if I was going through a really hard time, and like I have been the last 2 weeks, and I got to a place this week that I went deeper into the black hole and dark hole that I should have. Or I didn't realize I was. It would not have taken much, and I can't believe I'm admitting this online, to seriously consider it. Okay? That's how bad it got. Just please think before you do things like this. Just because you're not affected by certain things doesn't mean that somebody else is not. Would you want to know that you were responsible for finally making that person snap and then they end up harming themselves? Do you really want that responsibility or that on your conscience for the rest of your life? Is it worth it just to get that 2 seconds of internet fame? I don't understand the purpose of it. I don't. And I'm not going to sit here and tell people to be fat, that it's okay to be fat. But I'm certainly not going to sit there and laugh at them. And I know that everybody has to get to a certain point in their life before they decide to change who they are and what they look like or whatever the problem is. I can see when I look at other people who are overweight, and that's the problem is we wear our issues. We can't hide them as easily. And even when people say, "Oh, I'm happy," and I know deep down they're not, but it's not my place to make fun of them and force them to change when they can only change when they're ready. All I want to do in this world now, as I'm on this journey myself, is to show people and maybe get to the idea that, to help them plant that seed of it's time to make a change. Because I fight right now with my age and that I waited too long, and you cannot be this heavy and have a healthy life when you age. I mean, maybe 1 out of 1,000 can, but are you willing to take that risk? And I tell myself this all the time too. But then I'm not a freak, you guys. People who are overweight are not a freak. We're humans who've gone through things that you probably have never been through. And thankfully, you don't want to have to go through what I went through. And so when I see these things online, it reminds me of just how much most people seem to think of people like me, that you won't give me a time of day just because I'm overweight. I'm not asking you to be overweight. I'm not pushing online to stay overweight or in supporting it. But I am pushing that we're still human beings no matter what side, no matter where we are in life, whether it's, with anything. We're all still human beings. And I don't know, I'm just wanting more empathy in this world because I want to get out there and live it, but things like this is what keeps me from it and keeps many people from it, not just me. I don't understand why this has to be a trend and why this is still funny to people. And if you even defend yourself, the first thing that's going to be out of my mouth is, "Oh, I have a sense of humor." And that to me is a cop out. That's your way of saying you don't want to work on yourself, so you just deal with it. I mean, find a different way to make yourself feel better. Whether it's making fun of a fat person, whether it's making fun of somebody who dresses different than you. You don't, I mean, I know like a lot of right now with the trans, don't remember, just because you're seeing some people online acting ridiculous doesn't mean they represent the whole community that way, okay? Or if you see someone embarrassing them. In fact, I saw the other day that I had to keep scrolling because if somebody was my size, just online chonking and smacking their food. And I know this doesn't help the people's perception, but judge that person. Don't judge me. And I also know, I don't even know if judge is the right word. She's got a lot of pain. You could tell she's very aggressive about whether, I'm sure she's probably had a lot of hate and she's probably just had it. But there's reasons why people do things, and you don't have to agree with them, but you don't need to open up your mouth and make stupid comments and make stupid videos either. You could just move on. Anyway, all right, guys, it's long enough. And thank you for letting me vent, because it's really been part of my problem this week is just how mean people are still against overweight people. All right, guys, I don't know if I made any sense, but I feel better. And I will talk to you in the next one. Take care.